So, hello everyone. A very good afternoon to all of you. The topic of today's presentation is determination of melting point of petroleum wax, and this will be presented by me, Vineet Kumar Mishra. So, let's start. The very first question is, what is the petroleum wax? Sometimes we also call it paraffin wax. So the question is, what is the paraffin wax or petroleum wax? So it is a colorless or white, somewhat translucent and hard wax. It consists of a mixture of solid straight chain hydrocarbons ranging in melting point from about 48 degree to 66 degree centigrade. Okay. Now the question is, how do we get petroleum wax? I think here was one mistake. It should be do. Okay. How do we get petroleum wax? So petroleum wax or paraffin wax is obtained from petroleum by dewaxing light lubricating oil stock. As you can see in the flow sheet also, from dead plants and dead animals we get after the microorganism reaction or bacterial activities we get kerosene, and then after hydrocarbon exploration and refining, ultimately by dewaxing process of lubricating oil we get paraffin wax. So this is the process how we get petroleum wax. Okay, so we have studied what is the petroleum wax and how do we get that. Now the question is, why we want to study this, what is the importance, what is the use of petroleum wax. Actually it has many industrial application, like it is used in the candles, most common example, and wax paper also, and polishes, cosmetics and electrical insulators, and it assists in extracting perfumes from flowers, and it forms a base for medical ointment and supplies a waterproof coating for food. So it has many applications. The topic, if you have noticed, the topic of this presentation was determination of melting point of petroleum wax. So it is usually in the range of 50 to 70 degrees centigrade. But the question is, why we are interested in the melting point of petroleum wax. See, paraffin bags contaminate tight oils, and it remains on the walls of rail cars, crude oil tank walls, and piping. They are also known to foul the preheat sections of crude heat exchangers. Okay, and they paraffin waxes that stick to piping and vessels wall can trap amines against the walls, which can create localized corrosion. So if we know the melting point, we can have a better application, we can easily clean them. So that's why we find melting point. Okay, so now we will discuss what is the experimental setup, how do we determine the melting point of petroleum wax. So the aim is simple, we want to determine the melting point of petroleum wax. Now what are the materials or operators that we need here? We need melting point operators. It can be any, like even we can use Bunsen burners, any of the melting point operators. We need capillary tube and thermometer of course, and petroleum wax itself. uh, so what is the theory behind this experiment? This method describes a procedure for determination of the melting point of petroleum wax. So a suspension of wax in a capillary tube is placed in apparatus. As the wax starts melting, periodic reading of its temperature are taken. Okay. Now what is the procedure? First we will fill the capillary tube with wax up to 50 mm. Then we support the capillary tube in the apparatus, and after that we will start the heating of the sample, and we will note down the temperature rise using a thermometer which also placed in the apparatus. Okay, then we will note down the temperature at which the wax just begins to melt, and we will note down the temperature after every 15 seconds, and remove the capillary from the apparatus to cool, and we will repeat the experiment and take 3-4 readings. Okay, so this is all about procedure. And after the experiment we get, for our sample we get 69.75 degrees centigrade. This may vary depending on your sample and experiment. Now, as we talked earlier also, what is the application of melting point of petroleum wax? So paraffin wax has the melting point in the desired operating temperature range, and it melts congruently and freezes without much supercooling. These features enable paraffin bags to find application in thermal energy storage systems, greenhouse gas mechanism to prevent global warming, home building cooling, candle making, lubrication and construction of photoelectric cells. So it has many application. Okay, we will see an example. Like in the home building, a suitable paraffin box is embedded in a drywall. In the daytime, it will melt and absorb heat radiation from the surrounding. And in the night, the melted wax will release the heat absorbed to the outside of the building. So in this way, it will maintain the temperature of the room or house. Okay. So that's all from my side. Thank you very much. If you have any question, go head straight to the comment section. I'll see you there. Thank you.